Hey guys, this is Rob from Dodge and Fuski here for pluginboutique.com. Today we're going to be looking at a plugin called BigKick, which is actually Plugin Boutique's first plugin. It's a kick sampler and synthesizer, it's for making kick drums. You can use it for other stuff as well, like I've managed to make some snares with it, stuff like that, but it's primarily intended for making kicks. So first of all, I'm going to run through some features, then I'm going to show you some applications of how I've personally used it. Okay, so the main plugin here is divided into two sections, which is the attack and the body. Now the attack is a sample that you can load in. It has some built in, or you can load your own. And then the body is the synthesized part where you can add the weight to the kick. Now, first of all, I'm just going to show you a few of the presets so you can get an idea of what kind of sounds it can do. So it's got stuff like this, more aggressive stuff, and it's got kind of more sort of thuddy stuff. And then kind of sounds that you could make kind of trappy drums out of, more subby stuff. It can pretty much do anything, and to demonstrate that, I'm going to show you building a few from scratch. So this is one of the coolest things I like about the plugin at the top here, is the Waveform Display. Now this shows your entire kick drum sample, how it will come out at the end. So it's a combination of the attack and the body. So if I load in a sample here, so I'm going to load in a kick drum click sample here. You can see at the beginning there, it previews when it's loading what the actual what the sample itself is going to be like that you've just loaded in. So if you listen, you can hear that's the thud, and then you can add a body in here, and depending on like attributes such as decay, attack, hold, you can see exactly what you're getting here. So as I play with them, you can hear you're getting different results, and you can see it visually here. Now to run through some of the parameters, so on the attack sample that you load in, you have stuff like high pass filter. So obviously if you've got a kick drum that has a lot of low end frequencies that could clash with the body you're going to add in, particularly stuff below 100 Hz, you can kind of filter them out wherever you want there. Then there's obviously stuff like decay of the sample, how quickly it goes, and then the gain of the sample itself. The body has all the stuff you'd expect, like an envelope controls at the top. It then has stuff here such as, this is the pitch, where because obviously these things are synthesized by an oscillator pitching down. You can choose where it starts, the speed that it decays at, and the frequency it ends up at, so you can get things like really low sub or a bit more punch, kind of tonal kick higher up. Now this is again one of the coolest features here. You can drag and drop directly out of it into an audio channel. So if you look here, I've just dragged quite a short sample here, that was the sample that I was just making in BigKick. And if I do things like, say for example, I extend the decay here, maybe make the click a bit louder, drag and drop it out, you'll see it reflected in the second in the sample that's made here. So you can then drag and drop these very quickly between different audio channels, and if you prefer to work in audio, because I often do work in audio, you can continue like that, but you can have all the flexibility of working within BigKick beforehand to create the sound. So for example, what I find it really handy for is I load in like a kick sample I like the tonality of and I like the snap of, but maybe it's not sitting in my track because the pitch isn't right, and traditionally I'd then try and find a subby kick to layer with it, particularly if you're doing trappy stuff, but often you don't spend ages going for the wrong things, you have to worry about phasing, all that kind of stuff. With this it's brilliant because you can tune while it's playing on the fly the pitch of the body and get it to sit in your mix. So I'm going to show you a few examples of stuff that I've done. This is just very, very quickly stuff I've done messing around to show you how quickly you can get some good results. So first of all, here's like a drum, sort of a dubstep drum loop I've made. Now obviously it's just a kick here that's been synthesized in real time. So that's given a nice kind of weighty, punchy body to it. Then here's a kind of a trappy thing that I've done, again using a much longer, I'll show you here, a much longer decay on the body. And then kind of a quick little house loop I did as well. So again, this one here was using quite a short body in comparison to the trap one anyway. Another thing I did on that loop to get a bit more weight is there's another page in here, the edit page, where you can do even further things to the body. So for example, you can increase the body gain to kind of clip anything you have after it. There's a drive control. So if you want to make hardstyle, you can go quite nuts with that kind of stuff. And there's also there's loads of stuff for adjusting the tone that the sample makes as well here, that's what the synthesizer makes. So it's definitely one of those kind of plugins that you can immediately dive into and play with, because there's just the right amount of complexity to get the tonality that you want without overwhelming you with lots of complex menus. So it's very much, I've personally found that just by experimenting and playing with it, I've got some really good results really quickly, and certainly far quicker than I would have done if I'd had to layer 2 samples and spend hours just kind of going through samples, because you can do things like obviously adjust the pitch of the body without having to change the tonality of the attack sample. So yeah, hopefully that's been of some use and it's given you some ideas of what you can do with the plugin. So this has been Rob from Dodge and Fuski for PluginBoutique.com.